year.
And I'm so grateful that we were able to do it.
Oh,
We have 2 classes now of 8.
I think we're live, folks.
We're going live.
Oh, it's ready.
Come on, I'm not ready. Sorry.
Roll
Hi,
that
everybody.
bean
Just a
footage.
moment for the intro.
It's coming.
Kids make it fun.
There we go.
I think we're live.
Sup, everybody?
Sup, Matthew? Sup, everybody?
Yeah. Hey. Well, we got a huge family here today, don't we?
Mhm. This is so fun. I've been so excited for tonight because we are surprising you with, it's not just me and Matthew. You get to see all these fun faces, and we're going to talk about growing up PAC. Woohoo! So welcome.
Yes. Yeah. And so, speaking of growing up PAC, I don't know if any of you guys noticed something different about my screen today. Does anybody notice anything different about my picture, my screen? Something?
Am I noticing that there's like a mini clone of you, but a much more beautiful version, with all due respect?
Oh,
Thank you.
Yes, I totally agree. So much more beautiful in so many ways. And yeah, daddy's girl, right? So everybody remember that out there. So anyway, this segment today that we're going to talk about has to do with PAC skills, not just being about working with those folks living with dementia, but about also using it in other places, maybe in the workplace, maybe at home with children. So today we got some special guests. We have Amanda and Benji. Hi, Amanda and Benji.
Hi.
We have Beth and Via.
Hello. Hey, guys.
We have Melanie and Matthew. Matthew B, as he's known in the PAC world. And I'm MMC, so you know me. And this is my daughter, Madeline.
Hi.
So they're going to join us today for this segment. We're going to talk a little bit and explore together about the use of these PAC skills and awareness at home with our kids and us PAC folks, us certified PAC folks who have taken these skills and awareness, and we've tried out these things with our kids to see, what happens, and if it goes good, great. And if not, 2 things that went well, 1 thing that we want to try differently, and we go from there. So cool. So opening this up, we're going to talk about one thing just to give us that experience. One thing that we all have had experience-wise with PAC skill and awareness, where not only do we recall as the PAC parent, but then the child recalls of it being this great situation or this different situation and how it affected that situation versus the other way that maybe things have gone before. So Amanda and Benji, hey, would you guys be willing to tell us more about your PAC moment that you guys have together or continue to have together?
Of course. Thank you. Hey, you're ready? Okay, come on up. So tell everybody how old you are.
I'm 4.
And who is Teepa Snow to you?
Good.
She's good, but who is she? What do you call her?
Tiba.
You call her Teepa?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. What's her name to you?
Nana.
Nana. What does Nana teach about?
Don't remember.
Don't remember, huh? Yeah, it's interesting. And we're not really sure what she teaches. Does she teach a little bit of this? Hi, Benji.
Yeah.
And I am, how does it go?
don't remember.
I'm Mommy and you are?
Benji. I'm from North Carolina, and you're from.
North Carolina. It's incredible. He doesn't necessarily all get all the pieces that we're teaching, but man, does he get it. Did you want to tell everybody about substitution, not subtraction?
No.
What happens? You don't want to tell them anymore. What happens when Braden's playing with something that you want?
Substitution.
Okay, how do you use substitution? If I'm playing with this thing that I really like and you want to get it from me, do you just take it?
No.
What do you have to do?
There's something else.
Oh, and what? No, that's not good enough. Ooh, tell them what you're doing.
I'm making it funner
More fun than this thing, so that what?
so that you can play with.
Ooh, can I have that?
Yes, you can.
Thanks. Oh, did it work?
Yeah.
Nice job. That's one of his favorite PAC skills.
And Mommy pulled this back when I.
We're going to practice with our slingshot while the rest of you keep talking. Did you guys have any other questions for Benji?
So cool. Yes, I will totally have some other questions for Benji here after we all get a chance to share out our experiences. So stay with us, Benji. I need your help. I really need your help. I'm hoping you can stay right there and help me here in just a little bit. Can you do that for me?
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. So Beth and Via, hey guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, so tell us about your PAC moment that you guys recall that you've had together that was like, oh yeah, or ooh, maybe. So
So it's not when I try to use my coaching skills on you?
No, I can pick that up pretty quickly. There is times where she'll be asking me to do something. I'll be like, yeah, I'll do it. And then she'll use like coaching language on me. I'll kind of look at her like, didn't you just do that? But because I grew up with it, it's something I can easily detect. So, I mean,
I got to be extra sincere. If I ask her for her help, it's
Just
got to
me.
be something that she knows I know she's good at. There's no fooling.
but I mean, there hasn't been that much need for coaching language all that much.
No, we're getting along pretty well, aren't we?
Yeah.
Quarantine. What about so given that, I mean, I made the joke about coaching. Is there something for you that really sticks out for you in terms of PAC skills, whether it's working with people with brain change or working with your dad? He's not here. So anything that sticks out for you that it's a highlight for like Benji learned that skill, or is it grandpa or something else?
Most likely, the big thing is not lying when you mean something, when you're about to say something. But you don't have to lie, but you also don't have to tell like the full truth. It's hard to explain. It's not exactly a white lie. It's like a white lie. It's we used to use an excuse when my grandpa would always ask about his car because he had dementia. He'd always ask, well, where's my car? We're like, oh, it's at the shop. It was a white lie, like a lie for his own good. But you don't want to straight up lie, being like, you don't have a car.
And here's the cool part. You picked up something that your dad took a little longer to pick up on. When your dad said that, he would come right out and say, oh, like a statement, it's at the shop. And what was Grandpa's reaction to that? Would he think about it, or would he kind of just go with it? Because he got lucky a lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because where was this car really?
I don't know. Not there.
It wasn't the shop. How did you do it? That wasn't a period, a statement at the end. How would you say it that your relationship got stronger with Grandpa?
I'd either ask, usually I didn't really, it was usually Dad saying that, but I just ask, where did you last see it, or something like that. Or sometimes I try to help him, try to find it. And sometimes he'd forget and go on to other subject, but usually he'd end up talking about cars, which is something he loved. So
yeah. So notice you would really talk to him like, so where do you keep your car, like in the garage or somewhere? You would actually enter into this conversation with him about cars.
yeah.
which he loved. That was cool.
Very cool. So here we have Amanda and Benji doing substitution, not subtraction. And we have Beth and Via doing this whole, not necessarily using I'm going to say something that's not true to help this person who's struggling in this moment. But I'm going to end up exploring with them about their like of the car and the situation, and get them going in a different direction so that we're not still on the, where's my car? I need my car now. So that is so awesome, guys. So cool. So Melanie and Matthew B. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, so tell us more about your guys' situation of using that PAC skill and awareness in your household, and how that's affected you guys.
What do you think?
Well, one of the things that my mom always tells people is that she raised me like I had dementia. But using some of those PAC skills, functioning into that way while I was a toddler, kind of using some of those methods that are applicable outside of the situation of dementia care and into just general care.
Yeah. So kind of like, he mentioned toddlers. So, not backing him into a corner and saying, you've got to, it's like this or this. So offering him choices, or thinking, is he cold? Is he hungry? Does he need to pee? Is there too much going on? You're going to love that people are going to see this, right?
Of course.
Is there too much going on, or does he need some downtime to really come down? So that's what you're thinking. I was thinking more recently, Matthew's an extrovert, so using some of the personality things. And so when, there would be moments of distress during adolescence. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. And I just have to say, okay, so do you just need to talk about this, or do you want me to help you find an answer? And it was just, I just need to talk about it. Okay, I can handle that. I don't have to call the suicide hotline. We're just good talking about this now.
So cool. So you guys are talking about using those choices and trying to bring those choices down to something simple, so that it's not like in general, it's more of a, hey, so is it that you just need this, or you need
Matthew, we
something
can't
else?
understand you.
You guys having trouble hearing me?
Now we can.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm not using my mic that I normally have, so both of us cannot enjoy in the moment. So I'm used to not having to talk very loud with the mic right there by my mouth. So please forgive me on that. That should not have happened. But yeah, that is so cool. It goes up and down. Yeah, that could be internet too, which we all know we've been struggling with. But that is so cool. So using those choices. So I'm curious, Madeline, so we've heard all of these awesome experiences that people have used, right? So what's something that we talked about the other day that we've really enjoyed together with PAC skill and awareness?
So I am going to use an example that is not in the household, but instead with my friends. I have a friend with ADHD, and sometimes she can get overly excited or really stressed out if there's like a test or something. So I use a lot of the pause and deep breath so that we both aren't frantically running around all over the place, and have clear minds and are able to focus in school or just to enjoy the time we have together.
Cool. So in the past, you and I together have had these moments where I've had to say, "Oop, time out. Hold on a minute. Let's take a deep breath one more time before we continue on, to help kind of bring down that moment." So what you're saying is you've taken that and you went to school and you used that with one of your friends who was really having trouble bringing that amygdala down and getting excited and anxious, and helping her come back to that calm place. So cool. Awesome.
And I have a question, if I can throw one in there. So Madeline, your dad is the newest to this PAC team. A lot of them, Melanie raised Matthew like he had dementia, he said, and Via's been around it all your life mostly, and certainly Benji. So I'm wondering if you can tell us some things you've noticed about your dad's approach from before he was working with PAC and now.
Well, the first thing I noticed was his approach to everything was a lot calmer, and he took more into understanding of how, like, most of the conflicts we have are with my brother. So how me and my brother are both feeling, and he'll take advantage of sitting peacefully and watching what's going on, and somehow separate us and take both of our problems and conflicts and help one then the other, and then bring us both together and resolve it peacefully instead of us fighting. So
that's awesome. And I'm wondering if, like Via was saying, there's times that you're like, wait, are you doing PAC stuff on me right now?
To go off what the question you asked, actually, there was a time when before she was in PAC, it was a lot more diamond. She got more frustrated easily. There were times when she'd try to use it, but then she'd just be like, God, and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
our biggest issue is probably when I'm actually diamond, so I have trouble seeing your point of view, and all I have is my point of view, and then I use PAC language rather than making it actually supportive language in PAC. You know, true PAC sense is being curious. So I'll ask a question and there's no curiosity behind it, probably, right? Be like, so do you want to do this or that? And I give you two choices that just stink, and they're just my choices. I'll be honest, I'll throw myself under the bus for that one. You were kind about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, coming up with the right choice, right, that you're hoping is going to be appealing but still in the direction you're wanting to go. So Amanda and Benji, I'm curious, when mommy is asking you questions, do you like it when she asks you questions and goes through asking you those questions versus just coming over and taking something away from you and saying you're in trouble, mister?
I answer her questions.
You answer her questions, and do you like answering her questions more than just getting in trouble and that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Open up your mouth.
Uh-huh.
So answer.
Cool.
What happens when mommy says, do you want to do this or that? And you say no. That happens a lot too, because Beth, probably much like you, the choices I offer are not ones that he would like to do. And so we have to figure that out, don't we? Yeah, so we take a time out. What do we try to do with our nose and our mouth? Yeah, we let it out and then we go. How many times? Because it's hard sometimes, isn't it? Yeah, when you're really mad.
That is so cool. So using those breathing techniques when, it's just too much, too frustrating, and needing to just bring that experience down, that amygdala down, back to a calmer place. Very, very cool. So Melanie and Matthew, out of the different PAC skills that you both, because Matthew, you're going to be our guest today. You're going to be our gem that's shining out there in the world of PAC. I'm very curious about what your favorite PAC skill or awareness piece is that you guys have come to learn together and experience together at home.
Well, one of the kind of highlights of every PAC cert that me and Mom are a part of is when we get to do our multiple intelligences role play. That's always a good time. And that's one of the big things that kind of has applied to me a lot in my life, even in and outside of PAC, is dealing with how people learn and take in knowledge and understand things in different ways, and how critical that is to learning as well as success in teaching.
And mine just happened this evening because I got an email saying, oh, here's the newspaper thing we're releasing. And I looked at the picture and I'm going, and it's like, it's such a horrible, hideous picture. Why would anybody do that? And so Matthew came over, he just sat down beside me and he put his arm around, he said, I'm so sorry, that shouldn't have happened. So there, you know, that you know, that emotional intelligence, that comfort, you know, that being able to see from somebody else's perspective and truly being able to comfort and to nurture in a really authentic, loving way, I think is something that it makes a difference in the world.
Awesome. So, wow. Could Benji be on like every week actually? Because this is so entertaining watching him. Guys, thank you for being here. I know, Amanda, you may want to go off screen. We
Thank you
really
guys
appreciate
so
your
much.
time. Thank you, Benji. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Via.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
It's time for us to
Thanks
go.
for
Say
telling
goodbye.
us.
Bye.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Say
long,
bye, SUP.
farewell.
Bye, SUP.
Thank you for the shout out, Benj. You're
I
awesome.
love it. That is so awesome. And so Matthew mentioned that we are going to highlight Matthew Bunn tonight, because not only is he a child of PAC, so to speak, or he grew up PAC, oh, pushing mom out of the screen, but he's also PAC certified as well. So wanted to start, Matthew, with the question, so mom's worked with TIPA many, many years. I'm curious, how long have you actually worked for PAC?
Well, that's an interesting question. There's kind of two answers to that. Kind of what Melanie says is that she's worked with PAC since before PAC was a thing. And in that similar regard, I've technically been a part of PAC in that way for 18 years. TIPA knew me as an infant and has continued that relationship through 18 years, 19 this September, which will be wonderful. But I've really started focusing in and kind of becoming my own kind of part of PAC and taking that knowledge to the next level within the past 2 years.
Cool. So what made you want to shift from not only this is what mom does, this is kind of her and Tipa's thing, and Tipa was actually there when you were born, right? I think your mom and I shared a glass of wine and heard that whole story once, which is for another show. That was awesome. Loved hearing that. Right, Mel?
Yeah,
Won't let you in.
he actually spent his first night on her chest in the hospital room, and the nurse came in and kind of said, the baby needs to be in the bassinet, and she did one of those looks that we all know so well, and the nurse said, I'll check back later.
Me and Tipa go way back.
Oh, you do. That is precious. So then what made you think, oh, maybe I want to get certified and do some of this stuff that mom and Tipa have always been doing my whole life?
Well, it was really kind of an emergence of my knowledge just from being around PAC that kind of started a connection with people. And I started to realize the impact that Alzheimer's disease and dementia have on people's lives. I would tell people about what my mom does for a living, and they would say, oh, I have a grandfather who has dementia, or I have a grandmother, or I have a great aunt or grand uncle who has one of these diseases. And that was really what kind of sparked my interest was, okay, so this is something that really is a lot larger scale than I've ever really been shown it to be, especially reaching into a group of people, which is kind of my focus with PAC as young adults, is to a group of people that doesn't typically get this level of knowledge and understanding. And so
Cool.
I
So
decided
what-
to do something.
So you got certified. You're a certified trainer?
I'm a certified trainer, a coach, and I am a mentor.
Oh, and a mentor. So what are some of the biggest ahas that you had when you actually went through a certification?
Well, I have my mentor who mentored me through my trainer certification on the call right now. Hi, Beth. So kind of some of the ahas and big things that happened to me as I was kind of going through certifications was how applicable this information is to a much broader scale than it is presented. We think about kind of PAC skills and stuff like that being associated with dementia and Alzheimer's disease, but in reality, these are skills and abilities that can be translated to a huge variety of different situations. As kind of the point of this is how it can be related to childcare. And really the biggest aha was when I noticed my teachers in high school using some of the same strategies that I learned as a trainer, which was
Oh, wow. So you were noticing them using some of those same skills that you learned when you went through PAC trainer certification. You're like, oh wait, I see the magic that you're doing there. Now I see behind the curtain. So Beth, you were his mentor. How was he as a learner for you?
Crazy breeze. I mean, it was really neat to have somebody that knew and had seen the how effective it all was for so long. I mean, Matthew's an adult now, but I mean, the reality is you can see him as a baby on one of the earlier videos, accepting the challenge, right? I think you're in that. Yeah. He actually makes an appearance there as a baby in someone's arms. So, this is somebody that probably, Matthew, before, you developed the ability to see people's point of view as a young adult, which you developed it early, you probably saw behind the curtain even then, would be my guess. And so when you came, I mean, do you remember what you ended up working on? It wasn't the normal, just like, oh, let's see if I can get through my AELC, my adult experiential learning cycle as a trainer. It was a whole nother level. Do you remember some of the things that you were?
I can try to. There was a little bit of work, I believe, on trying to run AELCs in a way that accounted for multiple learning styles, as well as kind of taking extra loops in the cycle to kind of attack specific questions as opposed to broader concepts. Okay,
so for people that aren't PAC trainers, we have a learning cycle that starts off with some sort of joint experience. It's an experience in that moment, whether it's a sensation, whether it's touching someone else, whether it's thinking about something. And then we take you through a series of questions. And when you first start out learning this experiential learning cycle, you'll see it in schools. A lot of teachers use it. You will see people go through, okay, so what happened? Ooh, why did that happen? Where else have you seen this? Okay, what do you want to do differently? And Matthew, rather than just doing that very simple little cycle, he would go through and have them share, process the why, do a quick other learning cycle, come back in and bring a bigger point, and then have another experience going. There was layers upon layers, and that was really cool to then be not just a mentor, but a peer mentor with somebody and learn with him, which was really cool. So we could actually unpack what he was doing by watching the video. That was really fun. I learned probably more than you did, probably.
So you had one of the best mentors, and now Beth is one of the best, right? And now you're actually mentoring. So what has that process been like for you as a mentor now?
It has been a wonderful experience. It has given me kind of the opportunity to reach out and kind of not just learn, but to kind of grow and teach as well. So, and along with the kind of, I guess, the role of being a mentor comes with other sort of responsibilities and other sort of ideas that you can kind of approach in a new, different way. My favorite thing probably about being a mentor is similar to what Beth said, is you learn so much from teaching people or teaching. I don't really like to say teaching as much as learning with, because that's truly what's happening with PAC is I get to handle certain trainings and teaching in a way that really allows learning from oneself as opposed to teaching, which is a super cool kind of thing to be on both sides of.
Oh, I
Don't let
love
me
that.
fool you. What he really loves is dinner at the end of a cert.
That is
That is awesome. So Matthew's talking about learning with, and I don't think we were able to make it on Facebook tonight, but I think we're on YouTube. So if you guys have some ahas that you guys that are viewing have some ahas, kind of like what Matthew's talking about, we'd love to hear from you. What are your ahas that you took away from a certification course or maybe other TIPA trainings? So we'd love to hear that from you as well. Matthew, tell us what you're doing now, because you've had a big transition over the past 6 months.
had a couple of them. I am currently a student at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, studying biomedical engineering and planning on minoring in mathematics and chemistry. And so I'm kind of going through that and going through the process of moving to college for 3 weeks and then having to come home and then still taking classes. So it's a crazy time, but you know, I would have it no other way.
Wow.
Except
And
being on campus.
yeah, I bet you'd want to be on campus for sure. But you have really stayed sapphire through all this, and even through the summer, helping with so many of the certification courses. And it was just so fun to watch you learn and grow and learn with you. You're just a really special young man, Melanie. I know you're proud, and we're proud to know you. I'm curious, so with that major, which like you hurt my head when you even just said what your majors were. But I'm curious, do you envision PAC skills being something that you'll use in your future career path?
Certainly. As I kind of talked about earlier, in any aspect where you're teaching, working with people, or doing anything that requires collaboration at all, some of these PAC skills can be absolutely necessary. And of course, in the realms of what I'm doing, I know biomedical engineering is a very, very amygdala raising kind of idea, but basically what I want to do is I want to build things that help people in the medical field. And a lot of those devices, a lot of those technologies can be applied to better suit the needs of people living with dementia, which is something that I plan on being a part of and pursuing for my whole life.
That is so cool. Melanie, get in there with him. Let us see your smiling face, because I bet if you're not crying, you've got a really big smile on your face right now, don't you?
A little bit. So when he came home, I kind of cried for both reasons, kind of sad that he doesn't, but, I slept for the first night in forever. So it's good to have him. Yeah.
What has it been like for you to see him kind of flex his own wings with these PAC skills and not just what Mom and Tipa do?
Well, it's really fun to see him taking on some things that I don't get. Like one of the things you've worked with him on, Alejandro worked with him on. Alejandro was actually his coach mentor as well, was Zoom lead. And so Rebecca knows some of the interesting challenges of being Zoom lead. And Matthew, the one time I did a Zoom lead, I put people in breakouts. And when I brought them back, I shut down the whole meeting. So
that was not what you meant to do, was it, Melanie?
And I had to say, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That should not have happened. But he brings this whole, the idea of putting things on YouTube is, just doesn't matter to him.
I have a question, Rebecca. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm curious. The cool transition it must be. I've heard parents say, I loved every year of my kids better than the last. I think this is my favorite year. And then the next year, it's their favorite year. And the next year, it's their favorite year. So I imagine you're probably in one of your favorite years. So I'm curious I've noticed how wonderfully over the last couple of years, I've been watching you guys and trying to learn how, at the end of the day, for a young adult, you're still mom. And there's things that in life you have more experience at, and then you're going to be there to help and support. But at the same time, because he isn't a kid, I've watched how he has respectfully learned about you as you have respectfully learned about him. And I'm really curious about that transition to, you're still mom and you're still functionally in charge, but at the same time, there's much more of a partnership between you two. I'm curious, what were some of the places where you realized, this is where I want to be with this person? And what were some of the challenges? And it's kind of a big question, but I'm just really curious about that as I have the 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Speaking immediately to one of the challenges, she does not like it at all when we're on a certification and I call her Melanie. It's mom and that's it. But that's kind of one of the interesting, unique sort of things that we've had happen as we've both kind of, or as I've grown, you've kind of, but I've grown in sort of my abilities with PAC.
That makes sense. So that identity and what someone is called is still incredibly important, and it has a lot of meaning for it. Sounds like you picked up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Get away with it, but he does. I mean, and it's kind of a whole process of letting somebody grow. And so he said to me one day, you can't keep treating me like I'm not another mentor. You've gotta really let me claim that. And
I said it in a
can't
much sweeter way.
Oh, he said it in a lovely way. He said it in a very lovely, validating communication kind of way. But he was saying, I feel like you this, and I would really like it if you could this. And it was like, don't act like a grown up. I'm not feeling like a grown up. It's like,
that was one of the biggest transitions, was kind of going from being an accessory to you to being my own sort of independent mentor with PAC. And that's not anything that I complain about or anything that I regret at all, because it has been incredible having you as you weren't ever officially my mentor, but having you as a mentor throughout the entire process has kind of helped me grow to kind of become and be at the level where I am with PAC.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that sort of ability to identify myself as an individual and as and that's kind of the whole thing with college, is developing oneself as an individual apart from your parents, which is an exciting, a crazy, and a sad experience, but it's been so far a good one, I'd say.
So we had a big role change, because when I was bringing him home from Chapel Hill, I said, I am not going to wake you up in the morning anymore. And he was insistent. Now, those of you who will know this, what time are your classes, Matthew?
I purposely, I did this on purpose. I'm not crazy. Well, that actually makes me sound more crazy. But every day of the week I have an 8 a.m.
And what class do you have at 8 a.m., Matthew?
Generally it's chemistry.
So you have chemistry at 8 a.m. And when you don't have chemistry at 8 a.m., what class do you have at 8 a.m.?
Recitation for chemistry.
Or?
Recitation for calculus.
Yeah. 8 o'clock every morning. He's either doing chemistry or calculus 3.
I'm generally the first one to wake up in the house nowadays.
Yeah, it's great. And so, that was kind of the thing, is if you're going to be the mentor, then, these are the things you manage. And I help out and I support, but it's really, it's finding the way to let go of some of that. And I think that's really similar when you've got people in your organization where you're growing their skills, to find that way to trust that, they may be figuring things out in a way that's kind of different than I would do it, but that's okay.
It's funny. I mean, that Beth question that Beth asked was so cool, because I had a real big connect there when Matthew was talking about that role change piece, that when we have a loved one living with dementia, a lot of family care partners talk about this. It feels different. It doesn't feel like the role I had with this person. And so those shifts that happen throughout our life, and you guys are sharing really kind of coming to adulthood, but it's all throughout the life the journey, right? And that we're having these shifts in our relationships and roles. And there's some sadness to it sometimes, and there's some joy to it sometimes. So, wow, nice question, Beth. And we're gonna turn over to you because you have something super cool that you're gonna be sharing with us, and that is the new GEMS app. Woo! Everybody do your jazz hands.
Yes. So, oh my gosh. So I see this post. Let me set the scene for you. I see this post come up on Facebook. I think it was Alejandro who posted it. And it was saying, super excited. Look what I saw on the Android marketplace, and downloaded it right away. And I was like, what? And I so wanted to go get it right away, but I have an Apple. So unfortunately I lost out on that. But the next best thing we have is Beth. Yeah, soon. It's coming soon. Right. It is coming soon. But the next best thing, what helped me to get through it, what supported me to get through this, was knowing that I get to talk to you today, Beth, and we all get to hear from you about this amazing GEMS app on the phone. Oh my gosh. So tell me, please, what is this going to offer us?
Yeah, so it all kind of started, was happening before I was involved in the app. It started with a series of family members, Justin and Jacob Hammond, and they were two young men who moved back home because their mother was diagnosed with early onset dementia. And they found TIPA in their desire to learn more about mom's disease process to be supportive. And it's such a beautiful story in which they recognize their desire to plan ahead in this situation, to know what was going to come next, as well as how to meet someone's needs and figure out what skills are retained. When they found TIPA's GEMS, which has a functional approach based on the Allen cognitive models of Allen cognitive levels, of looking at retained skills, but also acknowledging those skills that someone no longer has. And the beauty of it for them was this idea that they could interact with mom better and still have a relationship. But then even as things changed even more, they got to the point where, I mean, these two young were amazing. They just really were thinking about other people, immediately recognizing that families, really, they saw the value for themselves, recognized that they needed the help, true self-assessment, and they needed help, and they found this progression model, TIPA's GEMS. They wanted to share that with other individuals, and especially other individuals of the same age who may be more technologically inclined. So at the same time that they started building what they wanted to do as an app for the GEMS and having people on the fly be able to have their phone and look up and get suggestions and ideas, we were also working at the same time with an occupational therapist who's also a trainer, and we were working on our GEMS state tool. So with our GEMS state tool, we ended up, let's see if I can bring up some images of this. I can. Okay. So as I'm searching here as I do this. So on our website, can you guys see the GEMS state tool? Okay. So on our website, we have our GEMS state tool, and it's a booklet. It's a hard physical booklet that it's coded. So we figured the history of this one is that first responders having something that couldn't get beat up too badly, could go in the back of a rucksack, could be, tossed around, could be wiped down in an ER, in the ED. But there was a way to see exactly at a glance a tool of communication. So if you could go ahead and highlight, if I'm being physical speaker here, and then I'll bring it up on the images as well. And actually compared the GEMS state model with other forms and other types of progression models that are used in other professions. And then on top of that, it gave basic overview of the GEMS. And it goes through, and probably one of the most innovative pieces is looking at, based on sense, what I can see, what I can hear and say, what I can touch and feel, and how I can touch and feel things. But then also my awareness of person, place, or thing, stuff that I understand in the world around me and the people I'm interacting with. How do those abilities change individually across the progression of the disease? But even more so, and this is what comes to the PAC skills, is what can I as a care partner do to support that person? Well, unfortunately, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but how well can you read that? Not too well. It's real tiny. So the vision was always that this would be an app, that it would be interactive. So our first iteration came with our GEMS app. And we combined all of the great features that are in our static little booklet that can go with you. But now you can actually watch little videos with it. You can hear and look at one particular sense across all the different gems. So I'm going to pause for a second, and as I'm going to bring up some pictures that I have, I'm curious for you guys how you use the gems, whether it's in a clinical situation, whether it's talking with other professions. How do you use the gems, and how do you communicate it when the rest of the world doesn't necessarily think of dementia as anything than mild, moderate, severe, or profound? How do you do that communication now that you have the gems? How is that similar or different? Anybody, actually?
Well, I know before I got my training using the gems, we didn't have any of that. It was all numbers. It was the Allen Cognitive, or the Global Deterioration Scale, and that's what they would get, or the BIMS. And so it was all about numbers. That's basically how we would communicate with each other, and in front of family too. I mean, we would say, so their BIM score is about a 5. So even though they were saying that the CNA, this happened, yeah, we're kind of iffy about that because they're a 5. So yeah, that's how it was used in my realm.
So we actually, just along those exact lines, one of the screens in our app is a way to show that communication tool. So for a lot of times you'll have an occupational therapist maybe speaking with nursing staff, or psychiatric services comes in talking with the primary care provider. So there's this cross-discipline idea that I should be able to really quickly and easily describe where you are. So therapists a lot of times will end up using the Allen, but the FAST is a pretty general one that people use. The Global Deterioration Scale is a very common one, but the minute you ask any of these professions, they have one or the other. And so by having something where at a glance, and even better on your phone, you can actually compare communication. Because what happens if you noticed, let's say somebody who is using the FAST is talking to somebody with the Allen and they use numbers. So what do you notice with, let's say, somebody in an amber state, someone who's stuck in a moment of time, our old words maybe about mid-stage dementia? What do you guys notice about the numbers on that one? Yeah, there's someone be calling, well, she's a 3. And someone that's using maybe the FAST is thinking, 3? I'm not seeing those kind of skills. Oh, this therapist must be an idiot. Or they clearly haven't seen what I've seen. So I just need to explain more clearly why they are not a 3, but they're actually a 6. So we've got no common tool, and there's this misunderstanding with our families and the rest of the non-medical world that all these professions have a similar language. Well, they can talk about organs and physical health, and the MD understands what the therapist is talking about in terms of supporting supportive devices. I can basically understand that. There's a misconception that all these professions are actually using the same language when we're talking about brain change. So this is one example of the ways that we hope people could, even if they don't carry around the physical tool, maybe their comfort is having an app. Maybe their comfort is being able to pull up something like this.
Yeah, I love that, Beth, because that is so true. Just looking at PAC and how we love to give options, right? It's this, that, or something else. And I don't know about you, but if anything, I've noticed from, my daughter and other that are in that age range, what rules the world is
Yep.
the number one way that they're communicating and getting information and interacting is with the almighty phone. And looking towards the future and being able to reach those, that this is how they're getting information. It used to be what? How would you get information years and years ago if you wanted to learn more about something before the internet?
Head on down to the library.
Head to the library, right? Go get a book. What's a book?
Yeah.
Luckily, we still have books. But
Annotated bibliographies. You'd go to books that were just summaries of other books.
yeah, but now we're looking towards the future. We're seeing this need and we're trying to meet that need. And one of the biggest ways we all get information now is through that little handheld device, right? And that is so awesome about this. So, and you gave us some of that, how this is going to up our PAC Gems game, right? So when we're out there and we're trying to use this, how that's going to up our game when we're there, either in a facility or if I'm a care partner and I'm at home with a loved one, and how accessible that is. So that brings me to the question of, so when you download this, right, onto your phone, do you always have to have like internet connection, or is it something that it's just all on the phone and there you go? You don't have to worry about that whole internet world thing and no connectivity and buffering and all that.
That's a great question, because I had actually forgotten about that, Matthew. The interesting thing about this is that in spite of the fact that there are videos on here, so this idea of facilitating an educational moment, when you're trying to talk with someone about whether or not someone has a certain series of abilities, or maybe someone has figured out they have this ability, each one of the gems has their own little info page. And on that is a quick and dirty little video that TIPA then describes very clearly what are the abilities and what are the changes that are happening for this particular gem. And so even though there's little videos for all the gems, as well as, and I'll take you through my messy computer here for a moment, and skills. So there's even a page, there's a screen that has TIPA demonstrating the use of hand underhand. So this idea that I can actually come in, greet, connect, and support in such a way that I'm able to then help you eat, help you dress in a much less intrusive way that doesn't fire up my fight, flight, or fright center, my amygdala. These are things that I have right there, even if my internet connectivity is poor.
That is so cool, because that's huge, right? I mean, look at technology, look how much we're learning about how that really stops us sometimes. And I imagine amygdala's not really going down if somebody's sitting here trying to access the GEM app and connect to the internet and it's buffering while their loved one living with dementia is continuing to escalate and escalate and escalate in front of them. So that is such a relief. That's so awesome to know that we'll be able to have that just right there in that moment when we need it the most to give us that support. So
Matthew, before people think this is actually a sales pitch, probably the best thing not is that it downloads fully on your phone and it didn't actually take as much space, because my problem in PAC is that I've got so many videos of people saying, hey, and so many videos of mini trainings and mini assisted situations. The app is free. This is something we really want to put out there. And this was actually a big thing with the brothers. It was, for them, it was such a savior to have this ability to understand what mom could do. And then also even better to have the ability to know what it is I can do to support. So just like in our book, we actually have the page that talks about what are the retained skills for someone with their visual abilities, their expressive language, their receptive language, things I can take in and understand, my dexterity, my finger skills, the things I can physically do and understand with my body, my awareness of people, place, and time, but even more so, then what is it that I, as the care partner, can do to support that person in that moment based on what I am seeing them be able to do? And for them, this was an important part of this partnership. they gave so much of themselves to recognize that this was a way not only that professionals could communicate with other professionals, but family members could actually see what was possible. And I think for me, that's the piece that when we had the decision about all the investment time in this, it was just something we couldn't, it was a piece that Teepa decided this was something that she needed to make sure was available to everybody. And that was kind of a big thing. We hope eventually to take this app to the next level and provide a lot more interactivity on it. Maybe that's something that we'll do as a 99-cent download upgrade. But for now and for all future, this app with all of its videos and descriptions and even, you know, gems descriptions of every single gem with the videos, that is all free. And it is going to be on iPhone. I would guess in a couple of weeks, it's almost ready. We've had some syncing issues with the video and sound, but it's just a few little bugs to work out, and then that'll be put on iTunes as well, or on the I'm thinking Play Store, because I've been dealing with Android, but you get the idea.
Wow, that is so awesome. So once again, PAC putting the SUP in support for everybody out there who is helping somebody or caring for somebody or trying to make a difference with these folks living with dementia. So that's so awesome. I'm so excited. Like I said, I was like, I as soon as I saw that post, I rushed to the app store on my iPhone, and I'm like, where is it? 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 And oh no, it's not there. And I was so disappointed. But you know what though? Like I said, it's going to be worth the wait. And I'm so excited that I got a chance to talk with you tonight about this, and so happy that we got to explore it for those of us, right, who are waiting. Because, you know, it's kind of like the movie's not out yet, but we at least get the preview. So we get a chance to get that teaser of it and everything. So this gave me so much more information to help me with that. So I'm so thankful for you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Well, I will also pass it on to the brothers and Keith and Amanda and Teepa and all. So much work into it. I know that there was proofing with Dan. And speaking of teasers, though, one of the biggest things is helping people that want to use and interact with the gems as a living gem that it is. Our biggest thing that's coming up is our GEMS workbook. So this is something that's actually an interactive workbook in which you can learn about the gems and then practice through quizzes and staff trainings, all the different gem states. This is going to its near final states of evaluation and formatting and editing just this week. So this is a great way if you're looking to have more than the utility and a communication tool. This is a way to take your staff to that next level. So I hope you'll go ahead and, you know, and find our Seeing the Gems workbook on the website. And we're thinking by mid-September, maybe the end of the month, we'll be ready to print and ship it. So
cool. So cool. So that'll be on that www.teepasnow.com/store, right? In that section, you'll be able to find that. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Beth. And thank you to everybody, all of those folks out there who put all of that work, all of that attention and detail. That is so amazing. Again, the SUP and support, right? I don't think I can say it anymore or plug that anymore. It truly is the SUP and support. So, oh my gosh, Rebecca, it's my time, it's 6:58.
It's 6:58 my time too. And I'm noticing that we're really short on time and we don't want to keep people, but thank you everybody for being on. Thank you for those of you that left the screen. Via left us, but that's okay because I would have done the same thing at her age. Maddie left us, I would have totally done the same thing. Matthew, you stuck it out even though you've got so much hard homework that you need to be working on. Thank you. And I'm sorry, but Benji really stole the show, I think. Although that GEMS app, I was like really curious about it, but now I'm like eager for it. Like I need it. I need it now, Beth. So thank you for taking us through a little bit of a teaser, a mean teaser, darn iPhone. All right. Thank you everyone for being on. We will see you next week, same time, same place.
Yes.
And keep supporting each other.
Yes, thank you guys. See y'all.